hiking channel. We lit the fat pasture on fire. It burned all down that way. But it didn't burn like I made a video yesterday. It didn't burn any of the tall stuff that I walked through. That's the reason we burned the goddamn thing. It was like to burn that tall stuff down. What I'm doing today is they lit the property next door on fire. Since I lit the property on next door on fire, is that over there? And it's pretty smoky off on the other property. For fun, I thought I'd go for a hike just to where the fire's at to look at it and then walk home. That's not too bad. Check out this fucking goose. Who said that guy just sitting there? That don't ever happen. He said no. I don't shoot at him ever. Pretty cool stuff. There's a story time frame what it did talk about. Cave they found that it claims they already buried in this area. What information I got? Like this is a pile of dirt. Somewhere in this area is the opening, and he dug it actually for exercise. And then it would be like productive reasoning. For whatever reason. For exercise, and to eventually there would be an escape route from the house. Possibly, if it had to have one. Secret tunnel. I don't see it. I think it was like 1970s. I told a story about a time frame when a guy 2,000 years ago was buried. The story is, we got two of them. One's an Indian guy, and they're all racist. That's the word they used. He was permitted by pretty much the king of the land at the time to be buried out here. He was the first Indian guy to be buried, like, right here somewhere. Truth story? Yeah. But 1,000 years before that, when it told about the wagon chariot all the way out here, the other guys are like, we worked building rock houses. That's what these rocks are from. But the story they're like accountable history, like in a book that's written about it. It's really about like his body, that's where he wanted to be buried, was under them rocks. Which was kind of cool. I think this is the rock that we talk about. It's the one somebody keeps busting pieces off of. For that record, we're sure that's the one that he was buried under. I don't know. Oh. What we're doing, here's where I was at last night, yesterday, but when I went outside after dark, I was gonna walk down here, because I can see flames, right? And I thought they were down here in these trees. Like the fire creeped up the fence line. A little weird yesterday on my side. The guys who showed up and lit the pasture on fire, like the course of time that it, yeah, that's what I mean. I kind of like, okay, well, have a nice day, we're awake. They lit it all on fire and then they took off. I didn't see them for the rest of the night. And all that tall grass, I really expected that to go up in flames, like big old fire. It weird, like they didn't put it out; they just left. So I sat out there, kind of walking around. That's why I told the story about that box. That is a box that was hand placed underground for stowage. They're real anal about metal at a time frame, and they would bop you on the head and take it. True story. Yeah. And that's the reason he buried it before he ran off. But he was so mad because to have it when he got home, so the pricks, jerks, buttheads, assholes, derogatory comments pertaining to getting bopped for your metal. He got home, the more information he got, like, when he got home, then he was mad. He was mad about finding something later and then talking about it. And then weirdly, like, what kind of tripped me out was that's sort of how I felt. Like, I felt like the same way while talking about it, you know, like telling a story about how I did something really bad. That feeling, like, it tripped me out, but they're true stories. And this is what I expected all to catch, because the fire I showed you yesterday is right over on the other side. I expected it all to burn out. It should have, you know. Look at these deer tracks. While walking this way, the deer jumped the fence. I didn't say nothing because they were already over the fence before I could show you. Get to where the fire's at. I'm notorious for losing my car keys. Walk straight into a briar bush. Out here was a little different. You could, like that other creek, right? There's a known spot, like right here where I'm at. As far as weird sinkhole stuff, they're usually like crevices created by water. But since they run cows, like, we're at a time frame when you still got to be careful, right? But because there's so many cows out here, it's a little bit weird saying it. Like, the places you would actually fall like 30 foot into a bunch of boulders. randomly from on top of the surface. That's what I mean by sinkhole. Except for modern day thinks of a sinkhole under a house, where they always show it like the street falls in or the house falls in. So it's a little weird trying to say it how it is on foot. It really is like dudes just walking along and going whoop, smack. Since they run cattle, there's actually a cow steps actually like slow and eats and is aware of that's a slow spot and kind of choose a different step. And a person like me just jocks his jaw, talking and walking. Blah, 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 that's a tree. People had sex over there. They made a bunch of babies. Everybody's happy. For real. Yeah, but I think it's weird. Okay, we made it to four-wheeler tracks. Get off of our land. Yes, sir. It's not really about me. It's about molecules and sustainment. It's whatever. I think this is like training. Shouldn't have said nothing. Oh, shit. I might get shot. There's not any no trespassing signs. Look, there they are. You do see those deers, right? Like right there somewhere. He's got a four-wheeler going out here. Alright. Like that's people on YouTube, man, walking down the street, people in the background talking. Don't have a fear of it. I got a weird like, okay, I know what's wrong with me, and I imagine this. A backpack and boots and just walking and telling stories about a book I'm reading on the way or some weird shit, right? As far as imagining it, there's this level of easement for me. Network sustainment, weird shit, you know? You hear the four-wheeler. This is what burned, but our goal is to get to that fence and over it, because technically I'm on somebody else's land. And I've always been permitted to walk through here. When we were kids, he said, make sure you stay close to the fence. Stuff like that. But when they kind of know him locally, it's not a big deal, I guess. But I've never ridden my dirt bike on this land, other than like once permitted when they burned it and the gate was open and they let me ride down there. But this land, this is the land I was telling you about that was originally part of that other one. There wasn't a border. It's really good land, but it has the same value historically as the land next door, as far as places that they would do stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. If you see way over there, there's the smoke I was watching this morning. And I was like, that's an awful long ways for the fire to travel, I think. But they did a good job burning this one. It's kind of weird saying that. Like you guys all try to put out fires. Like in Oklahoma, it's like Kurt, go run from the cops. Why? Because I need them to be distracted. What for? So I can burn my pasture. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. You'll get me in trouble. Like in Oklahoma, this is part of it. It's so weird saying it like that. Like holy shit, 17,000 acres burned. Oklahoma would be like, hell yeah. I hate seed ticks. Every time it burns, it kills all the bugs and weird stuff. And but they did a good job with their plow line. Pretty good, pretty good. Since we'll be here on the two adjacent properties are the same guy that rents the house to my grandma, and that's about sort of reality I'm at. He beat him, so that's where I'm at. You know, it made it to time frame, or I don't know. What was I gonna say? This is where I thought the fire was at, and where I was gonna walk to was a little further that way into them woods. Just going straight up that way is kind of to my grandma's landlord's house. This way is like where the little creek and stuff is at. Normally their fires that they built reach this area, and they'll burn this one out next, which would be this little fire break they do here. Normally they light it at the fire break. A little bit of plowing they did so it doesn't do weird shit overnight. But I don't want to be told sure, but he didn't do a very good job. For us. We got to see deer. The funny part is out here, man, it would be like a kid that's afraid of werewolves. The werewolves like sleeping in the trees right there. Mad as hell that I talked about a kid that's afraid of them. Should have said nothing, Kurt. Right? Look, we made it here. Future metropolis. $1.5 million an acre. For a fucking creek. Fuck you. I'm still in rocks before you act weird. Tricked me. Ready? Oh shit. It's funny, but it's not. Like, it's like, alright, that makes sense. The most peculiar thing, like, okay, it's the woods, sit down, eat some beef jerky, exercise, man of the mountain stuff. The word peculiar is like this: seeing a person just walking through the woods talking to some metal box about weird stuff. It was like, it's a little bit weird. How did we get here? We walked. Alright. Spider web. Shit. Excuse me, sir. Oh! Moccasins, snakes, scary stuff. The water's pretty deep in spots. It's like a little creek, right? Yeah. Since we've lost our trail, and we're trying to make it to where there is one, or might be one. We made it. But here's looks a little different. Anti-werewolf spike. We made it to civilization. Now this is better. At first steps since they built it. Okay. Here's a gas line. That's the road. Second fence over, I think, is the road that goes to the gas station. That's what I want to do. Walk this way as far as we can. And under this dirt is a gas pipeline. Well, as a kid, I imagined it being like super gigantic, and then seeing it, I then imagined it being like a little piece of pipe. It matters, but it don't matter. The creek looks pretty good. The pipe's roughly about 2 feet wide, 1.5 feet, 2 foot, 1 foot. But they replaced pipe from like goddamn Oklahoma City all the way to Florida or some shit. For real, it's a long ass ways. That's the fence we came out of. A little bit of orientation if I'm hauling ass on a dirt bike. Or somebody else's. I haven't seen it since they added the new pipeline, which this is how it looks afterwards. It's kind of cool. But there's a gate up here. Houses over there mean that geo map. It's my friend's house. It was. But if we go through this gate, we're still safe as far as people's property. But it's not where the fire's at, and that was the plan. I thought he was burning this pond out, and I was gonna hike over to the pond and realize he's not burning it. So then I was like, well, I might head back to the house. On your 6. Here. He's back there. Watch my back, guys. That's what it would be like. So it would be like The Walking Dead. They're all shooting at shit. I'll be like, oh, check out the tree. That's cool. And now it looks like a goddamn country club with like, you know, where you golf and stuff. Looks pretty good. There's a man of the hour back there. After this video, I'll probably head to the house since he's headed towards me. I'll holler at him. We'll walk the same way we came, but slightly different. And we look at the burn stuff. It's been about 24 minutes. I thought it was about 40. I'm only 25 minutes into my daily hike. All right, we're back. I gotta say hi to the guy and then head home.